to do that. They convert to an actual like resident. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Cato, the point we're making is a lot of people thought he was guilty. And I was like, wow, I don't know. My verdict is still out on that. I mean, I know he was found civilly responsible, but and people are coming out now, even jurors are coming out saying, oh, we all thought he was guilty. We just weren't sure we could, get the decision to go in favor of guilty. So we just kind of back down. I'm like, what? You're a juror. You're supposed to decide. So anyway, I thought that was.
Well, unfortunately, that happened. That happened in the Casey Anthony trial where they weren't sure and they let her go. And even though there was somewhat evidence against her, they, who knows? It's very weird how this happens. So you never know what a jury's going to do.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. So, so it was an interesting thing, but yeah, RIP OJ. Some people are happy about it. The jury's out. I liked him as a running back. And, he had a lot of cool sports memorabilia.
Well, he was a talented player. I'm not taking anything away from the guy, but he's,
I had the memorabilia. So anyway, we'll come back after a quick little break and we'll talk about some more stuff that's going on in the headlines. And you're here on Bell and Company. I'm saying it this time, Libby. Bell and Company with Mario J. Bell and Libby.
Okay.
Hey, we're back here on Bell and Company. That's the new show we're doing here on IntellectualRadio.com. I am the host, Mario J. Bell, and normally I have my co-host here, who's the she says the star of the show sometimes, but she's a big part of it. Libby. Hey, Libby.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. And we're in a whole new area. I want to kind of recap. We're doing this. Well, people saw it, I guess, but they didn't necessarily hear everything. We're on intellectualradio.com now, but we're from the terrestrial side. We were on a couple of stations and they got sold. So that's why we're like, well, we're going to do something new now. So now we're going to do all digital. We'll be on intellectualradio.com, and we're actually going to have little fun clips that we edit out from video that you'll be able to see on all our social media, which, I don't have TikTok. Do you have TikTok, Libby?
No, I do not.
So we got to get on TikTok.
I'm way too old for that.
A lot of people are saying that, but I'm talking to editors, and I even talk to people here at Intellectual Radio. They have something for everybody now. They've got, for like older people, they've got videos that are like maybe talking about finances or retirement, just that caters towards more than just like the 15-year-olds,
Right, because
So
I always thought it was a kids show, a kids channel.
I think it started out that way because it used
Yeah.
to be something called Vine, which we loved. I know you made fun of one video I used to play all the time.
Yeah.
Just another day at
That was
LA
classic.
Fitness. I'll just say the audio of it. And it had a guy swimming. It's a silly video. But anyway, so TikTok took over and, we should probably get on there. We're on YouTube, of course. And of course, the website, intellectualradio.com. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing these little vignette things, the reels, and they'll be on my page, Mario J. Bell, and then the motivation, I should say the name of my pages, Motivation, Inspiration, Bell and Company, because I couldn't change the name on Facebook. I don't know why. I didn't want to start over because I've got all of the clips. Like everything we've done together, Libby, is there. You know that, right?
Yeah.
On the Facebook fan page. So you can find us there. I'm definitely going to share some stuff with the management here at intellectualradio.com, and they could probably put like a picture or some clips so you'll see some old stuff. But anyway, so yeah, we're from radio, but I've known Earl for a while. We were here briefly once before, and I wasn't really ready. Now I'm ready. So we'll stick around for a while. We're hoping to do Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, but again, like you see today, for people who are watching the video, like where's the co-host? Well, the dummy didn't make it today, and I don't mean it as a slur. She's literally my little doll, my dummy, Libby.
Yeah.
But she's on the phone, so we have her on the phone. And like I said, we're hoping to be here Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and give you a bunch of fun stuff to hear, and you'll see those reels as well. They do them here too. Intellectual Radio has a lot of good ones. Maybe we'll make some of it. We got to do some good content so they like it and they put us in their reels.
Okay.
So
fine with me.
Yeah, you got to be on your A game when we're doing this show. No more half asleep.
Yeah, I'm up.
Actually, I think the host was half asleep sometimes. I would always get distracted, and by whatever coming in an email, the director, the board op guy was telling me stuff, and I'd miss things. But we're good here. I can kind of keep things in control here a little easier because I don't really have to look at everything as much. It's already been given to the board ops and the operating the management. We have management here helping us today, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, so yeah, I used to be a radio guy. Just plain old, turn on the dial in a car, if you still had the dials in the car, and you hear us on stations across the country. But that whole deal went sour. I really don't know what happened exactly. I was not notified until like a few days before. That's why you didn't know where to show up, did you, Libby?
No.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be coming with me now, and we're out in the straight west of Chicago suburbs off of Roosevelt Road now, intellectualradio.com. So yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we did radio before. I actually did, and I don't know how much you were able to hear. I did some world's largest store stuff, which is WLS. I don't know if people know, call letters aren't just made up out of nowhere. They usually mean something, either because the region they're in, the owner of the station. There's a lot of reasons they're usually 3 or 4 letters for radio and TV as well. Same thing, but they mean something. Like WGN meant the world's greatest newspaper. I don't know if anybody knows that.
I've heard that years ago. Yes.
So anyway, I was on the world's largest store, WLS, and they also used to. So I guess Sears was the one that was backing them. I guess, which surprised me. I always thought they backed WGN, but no, I guess they were WLS. And then they had country music. They had the Barn Dance. They had Paul Harvey. I mean, they had a lot of cool stuff. And me. I didn't have Libby when I was doing that show. I know. It was a little bit political, and it was a little bit like motivational stuff. And what happened was in the middle of COVID. What a mess.
Yeah.
I never saw anybody at the radio station. It was so weird. I was always like, sending them the video myself. They would edit it a little bit, and then that was it. I never met anybody. So that was kind of weird. Yeah, I always thought that was odd. But,
yeah, I do too.
They had a very powerful signal on the actual dial. Their internet wasn't like as organized as this. I'll tell you that. Their website was a little messed up. So, but anyway, I did that for a while. I was on in Las Vegas for a while. It just recently, actually, through the syndication before they all got sold. Actually, Las Vegas is still owned by the old owner, but they're changing everything. So anyway, so I worked in Vegas. I was doing sales. I was telling, you saw the video. You didn't see necessarily the audio. I did something called the radio shopping show. So can you believe that? We were buying stuff on the radio, but not the actual product, Libby. You bought a certificate to buy it.
Right.
So that made for really interesting radio, right? But it you know what? We made it fun. We would talk about current events, and then we would say, oh, and by the way, look, you can buy, Donnie's Pizza. I'll just throw a name out there. It's only $5 right now. It's on special, normally $19.99. So it was, we tried to make it interesting, but it was interesting for people who wanted to buy this stuff, So I did that.
Mhm.
And then I was on with Elvis, an Elvis impersonator that I swear to God was Elvis reincarnated. Usually
Yeah, that was creepy for me.
usually
You
in Las
closed your eyes, you
Vegas.
thought it was Elvis.
Yeah, usually in Las Vegas that means something,
Yeah.
because a lot of the entertainers that were big in movies or big in the entertainment industry in general end up doing shows in Las Vegas. So this was the Elvis
Yeah.
impersonator and the manager of the radio station I was on. So it was kind of interesting. That was my experience in Vegas. So, but yeah, so I bounced around, and my first job, probably one of my most fun. I think it was one of the coolest ones. Besides like being here at Intellectual Radio, which I like, it was being on the Loop, WLUP. So I was on there, but I wasn't on the air. They would just yell at me on the air, and I would talk every once in a while. And we were doing the overnight show with Harry and Spike. They were the guys that used to do like the commentary in the middle of. They did the commentary in the middle of the shows, like they take a station break from the games, from the Hawks games, Blackhawks. And then these guys would be up there doing like the color stuff and doing little bits. So I ended up working for them on the overnight radio on WLUP, and I swear to God, one of my best jobs I ever had. I mean, the legends were there. Danny Bottaducci had just quit, and I think he was still finishing up when I was there. I don't remember because he was in the middays. In the morning, you still had Jonathan Brandmeier, which, by the way, I would see. He would run through the hall when I was ending my show in the middle of the night and go to his little booth, and he made it where he would never do this. He would never do video. He had it where there was a curtain and nobody could see him. So that was interesting. So he would do that, and then I would give him.
It's like me.
Yeah, you don't want to be seen either. I know, it is kind of the same deal. So yeah, that's interesting. So that was the Loop, kind of legendary. They had Howard Stern on, I believe, still in place, and then Johnny would come later. Then Kevin Matthews, who you kind of are. The reason you're on with me is because of Kevin Matthews. Do you know that, Libby?
I love him.
Well, he had his character, and he eventually you could see a video of him, but for the most part, it was just talking. He had Jim Shorts. So
right, our favorite Jim Shorts.
So it was our inspiration to have you be, instead of the real person sitting here, we have like your avatar of Libby.
Right.
Which I don't have either one of you. I guess I got your voice on the phone today, but normally she'll be here. So anyway, so yeah, I've bounced around a little bit, not so much by choice. This is kind of weird that this happened. I'm glad it did, because like I said, I always liked what I saw here. Well, this is at least 10 years ago I first saw this. But yeah, it's an interesting business. I've managed to stick around in it, and not so much on air, because I wasn't on air like when I was telling about the Loop stuff, WLUP. I was behind the scenes, and like I said, they'd yell at me on the air, and I would respond, but that was it. I was mostly behind the scenes up until about in 2004. I did a show on the old WJJG radio station, which was also local, like Intellectual Radio is local to the west suburbs here of Chicago. And it had a real small signal. You couldn't even hear it. If you were more than 10 miles away, you had trouble hearing it. And this is before the internet. This is in the early 2000s. So there wasn't much of a way to get it besides the transmitter. The internet, he would hardly ever have it on to stream. So that, definitely a different day and age. I mean, now look we've got video, audio, interactive on social media. We're on intellectualradio.com. We're on the apps. I mean, it's crazy. So I guess it's a good thing, though. It's a lot easier to access the show. So, that's the new thing here. I got to get used to the new technology and where to look. I keep looking down to the phone. I'm looking at where the phone is. I guess I could look at the audience. Hey, everybody. But usually in radio, you don't have to worry about that. You're just looking down at your copy for the advertising, whatever you're going to do and talk about, you have, and you're looking at it. You don't necessarily have to look at the audience. So that's one little tweak that you're going to have to get used to too when you're here, Libby. You got to make sure that you're, the dollars, you're looking at the camera.
Right.
So
I got to practice that.
Are you still going to have the mask on, by the way? I know you're still paranoid about diseases, including COVID.
I think the mask is funny, actually, but
fine. As long as we can hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we could still have that. So anyway, so that's a little bit about us. And now we're here doing our show, hopefully on every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until further notice. We've had some things going on while Libby's not here. So some family stuff going on. I literally, in my day job, is a manager of a business that has actually suites in it of beauty professionals, hair, coloring, styling. and then a
Mhm.
spa section. Anyway, that building, it looks like, we had an earthquake or something, because a young girl who happens to live right next to the building we're in, decided she's going to make a U-turn basically and make a right into our wall. So I've been dealing with that. So that's been fun. We still don't have everything working right, but at least I know
Mhm.
the audio's on for, the audio, I'm saying, the internet's on for people, because everybody takes payments now. They'll be watching something through the TV now. It's through the app on the Wi-Fi, so they need their internet. So we definitely got that working. But yeah, it's been a work in progress. So there may be a few times where you don't see us on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because of what's going on. So didn't expect that. Let me tell you, I was going there that day to talk to a tenant and tell him, you're a little late here. We're gonna have an issue. And I was getting cleaning out one of his suites. Well, that never happened. He's still there. Both suites are still there, and I'm still fixing a wall. So yeah, fun times there. But anyway, so the plan is on weekends we'll be your weekend darlings here on intellectualradio.com for an hour a day, and we're going to talk about just about anything you can think of. We'll probably be mentioning. So
Mhm.
anyway, what do you want to say real quick, Libby?
Hello, how y'all doing?
Okay, that's good enough. You don't have anything you got to vent about?
Pretty much what I vented about, I did it last night, and it's all good with the bank. And,
Well, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
you want to tell that story before we get into some headlines? We want to talk about Libby Libby thought she was a victim of bank fraud, right?
Yes, it was very scary, and my mom says she talked to the bank and it's okay and everything's fine, but it's just a scary feeling when you think you were ripped off. So
Yeah, the Dow, you can't always handle your own finances. You have a manager. You're saying it's your mom.
Yeah, well, my dad too. My dad has been sick, you know that. So he's
aren't you
not able to do anything lately. So my mom had to handle it, and it's
now
all good
you're
now. But last night I was really, really frustrated.
Well, you're over there with them, probably yelling at them about it, right? While you're helping your dad,
my
you're
mom,
yelling.
I can't yell at my dad for this. This is not his. I don't want to stress him out. It's my mom. And
Oh, just blame it all on mom, huh? Well, if she's listening, she's gonna like that story.
No, but we straightened it all out. I mean, she called me back and she said everything's good, and the bank couldn't tell her anything because that's my account and blah blah blah. But nothing was stolen. I think it was an error. Hopefully, it was something easy to figure out because I was really freaking out.
Man, I'm glad you got that worked out.
Yeah.
So you did. You got your money.
Yeah, they said nothing was stolen. It could have been the bank error. Who knows?
When I send you the Uber money to get down here, you're gonna be able to do it, right? You got a bank account.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll shut down the account and start over. They did it with me a few times. I've been a victim of fraud over the years. Different banks, different cities, but yeah, it's not a fun story. But you're okay now.
It was scary, and who knows? I have to talk to the bank. What happened?
Well, yeah, that is funny that you say I don't have anything to vent about. I did yesterday because she was screaming at me on the phone. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I can't help you there.
I was yelling at my mom too, but she thought I wasn't yelling at her. I was yelling because of the situation happened, and she asked me if I withdraw money. I said I can't do that.
I told you to go in the car with them and go down to the bank, or at least call the security hotline. They have a fraud hotline,
Yeah.
But you didn't.
But I didn't know what happened. I don't want to report a fraud and then have it not be a fraud. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to. I don't want to report a false fraud. So it's better for me to know what happened first.
It's honestly, the bank will tell you to report it right away, but yeah, maybe it's better that you waited. You got it worked out. So it wasn't actually somebody hacked into your account, or they did.
I don't know. My mom told me about the story about the check that got hacked into. Somebody stole their check, and remember that check story I told you about? But I don't know what happened. I have to talk to the bank. Wow. They wouldn't tell her anything anyway. But
well, what would be some advice for the audience now that we're live on intellectualradio.com talking about it? What did end up happening? Did they put a fraud alert on your account? What did they do to help you?
The bank, they wouldn't tell her what they did, but they said everything was fine. So I'm going with that. And
I
was mad at my mom because she didn't tell anybody about the check being, somebody tried to change the amount on the check or something.
Yeah, that's something you need to tell people about right away.
Right, and that's why I was kind of pissed off because I'm like, you should have told me. None of your business. I said it is my business. My name's on the
this
account.
happens with business managers a lot, that they end up taking advantage of their client, where they'll just take over and do things even without the client knowing. So it sounds like your business manager, you need to have a little conversation with heart to heart with mom and dad. Oh boy. I work for people that don't know this. My other job, why would they, right? We're just on here new. I actually, during the day, I don't just do radio broadcasting. I also, or intellectual radio, which is, multi-format digital. I also am, as I mentioned, the salons, a manager. So I'm dealing with them all the time, my family, and they're always giving me a hard time. And, a few times they don't have my account, though. They don't control the account. So if there was fraud, it's all on me to take care of. But it is scary. So for people, quick piece of advice for people is you definitely want to call your bank and make sure you've got the emails for the fraud alerts and just anything.
Right.
Balance changes, deposits. What do I got?
Right.
Oh, I've got one of the statement prints. You want to do that pretty much with anything, credit cards, anything that kind of has anything that has to do with finances. You want to make sure you get that update.
Right.
So yeah, that's important. So now make sure to tell your mom.
I said, I'm going to tell her, listen, if there's something happens to you about something was hacked into, something was stolen, you tell me, or you tell everybody else. Don't keep it a secret, because she told me it was none of my business, and I'm like, I can't figure that out.
Well, I guess it's technically you're on their account. I guess they're your business manager. It's none of your business, Libby.
She's from the old school, the parents, none of your business, don't ask, and it frustrates me when she does that.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it old school. I would call it protective of you and wanting to make sure that they do everything and you don't have to worry about anything, kind of thing,
Well, I tell my daughter
you just be funny on Mario J. Bell's show with Libby. You don't worry about your finances. We'll take care of it. Your rent will get paid. But that is how there's a lot of story. And this is, I've got some stuff to talk about, but this is fine. We can talk about this. In Hollywood, there are several instances you hear about, from the movie business, entertainment business, whatever, film, where their managers end up, doing things and like taking millions out of their account without them knowing that it happened. So it's nothing new that you're having that. This happens all the time.
I don't think, but the perpetrators were my parents, though. I don't.
I hit the mic. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy that did you hear about the baseball player? I think he's Japanese. I forget where he's from exactly, but it was like his interpreter that took millions. I'm like, man, I'd be after that guy so bad. I won't say it on the air, but yeah, I would not. He wouldn't get away with that. I would get my money back. Let's put it that way. I'll just leave it at that. I wasn't always a radio talk show host. Anyway, no, back to the story. So yeah, you got to be careful with the bank stuff. No doubt about it. So, okay. So that was your rant. It was just telling a story. You didn't rant. You just wanted to fill us in. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But again, everything's okay, right?
Yeah. She said, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's probably a bank error. Who knows? But I hope it wasn't fraud.
Speaking of alerts, I just got one. See, it tells you when you do a deposit or withdrawal. So it just told me. So it works. Thank God.
Right.
So you definitely want to start getting those. Tell your mom.
Well, my mom doesn't have a cell phone. See, she got it by mail.
No, you can get it on the computer. You can go check your email.
She doesn't see. This is wrong with my mom. She don't want anything to do with computers and all that.
Oh.
And she's too stubborn to learn. And
so she's never probably.
My dad gets frustrated with her because she doesn't want to learn everything she has to do. I mean,
she probably won't see this. She probably won't see this then.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
She got a letter from the bank.
You know what? We'll send her a copy of the video. I'll get it downloaded and send her a copy in the mail. How's that? She can watch it on a DVD. Will she do that?
She'll get. Yeah, she'd get a little agitated if we told her to do it. I mean, she's stubborn.
This is a whole topic for another show, another segment.
Stubborn old lady, sometimes she's set in her ways. It's crazy.
I don't think it's just your mom, though. A lot of people don't like tech. I love it. This is great what we're doing. All new stuff, apps. Now we're going to do reels, like I was saying earlier. It'll be fun. As far as I know, we're going to be on everything through IntellectualRadio.com and through my own pages. I think we're going to cover YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I heard a rumor of maybe even LinkedIn. I'm not quite sure. Why in the hell is our show going to be sent around on LinkedIn? But I don't know. Maybe some CEOs that want to advertise on it. I really don't know what that's about. But yeah, we're going to cover all the bases now. No more radio, though. No more terrestrial.
Yeah.
That's later.
Right.
I'm probably going to end up sending some clips to the new owners of the station that kicked us off. But we'll see. We'll make another deal down the road. Not worry about it now. I'm excited to see how the reels perform. I want to know if I get 1 million views. Because look, you can't see it in the video necessarily, but in the corner, they got over 1 million views here. So there you go. They got a reward. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, maybe in 10 years we'll have it too.
Yeah.
I really don't know how long it takes for some of this stuff. You just got to be crazy. Like, I've got some ideas for you, Libby, that we should do with you. Like, where in the world is Libby Tartars, instead of Carmen San Diego, That's one idea I had. What was that?
They got to find me.
Yeah, right. They got to find Libby. Where's Libby? Or locating Libby, I think, is something I came up with.
Yeah.
So that's one little thing we could do, and I think the reels will help with that. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I digress. I wanted to talk about some things that are going on in the news. One big one that it's surprising the reaction that I'm getting on my social media, but in general, even the news, everybody's talking about. And he just passed away, I guess, from cancer, and it was very low key. He wasn't talking about it. Is OJ Simpson passed away? The juice.
Yeah, good riddance, as Caitlyn would say.
Oh, you just said it again. I was going to say, I wonder if she's going to bring it up. So Caitlyn Jenner, whose daughters are actually related to this. Well, I don't know if they're related, but they were definitely friends, because the Kardashians were good friends with the Simpsons, because during that trial, when in '94 there,
OJ's lawyer, Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, but I'm a little confused how Bruce / Caitlyn Jenner was involved with him. I know the daughters are related to Kardashian, but how did he know OJ? I don't.
Because OJ and them were athletes and they were friends back in the day.
Oh, maybe. Oh, like in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah, and then
that makes sense.
The trial happened, and Chris and Robert got divorced, and then she started dating Bruce, and that's
maybe that's where the connection is. When Caitlyn / Bruce Jenner was dating Kim Kardashian, who is the wife, as you said, of the late
Chris, not Kim.
I mean, sorry, Chris, the mother dated Kim. Well, hey, he could date Kim too. Why not? She did her own little sex tape. Speaking of, having decency thing, we talked about that earlier. I don't know if everybody heard that. We try to keep it clean here. We're not going to have Kim Kardashian's clips of her sex tape or anything. But anyway, back to the story. So it was Caitlyn Jenner / Bruce Jenner came out and said, "Go ahead and repeat it." What did she say?
Good
what was
riddance.
It? Good riddance. That was the quote. I'm really torn. I really admired him as an athlete, maybe not as a public figure and a citizen. Especially, he was doing the Hertz commercial. In fact, he was in Chicago the day he got in trouble and had to come back to LA.
I remember that.
He was in Chicago at the headquarters doing some kind of filming for Hertz, the car rental company, HERTZ. So,
I remember that.
So he's a spokesperson. He was an athlete that won awards that I think the rushing records have been broken since then. But in fact, I think Peyton broke some of them. But anyway, so he was well known for his athleticism and being in the NFL, and then here he does the movie career, and then obviously becomes infamous for allegedly killing. Well, he was found guilty in the civil trial for killing his ex-wife, I should say, and her then boyfriend. And honestly, I know the jury's out on it, and a lot of people think he was guilty. I'm not so sure. I think he might have had an accomplice, maybe not Kato Kalin, but somebody he knew that did it. That's my theory. What say you, Libby?
I don't know either. I mean, it's Caitlyn and Kato Kalin think he's guilty, and they know him. So
I know they were there, but what do you feel? Do you think that based on what you saw in all those trials, because there were two trials, there was a criminal trial and then the civil trial,
right? Well, I didn't watch. The only time I watched it was when the verdict came on, and I remember watching it when I was pregnant, and that was in October, and I remember watching it just like shocked,
Yeah, no, it was something. Well, you mean that he was found not guilty?
Yeah, I was just shocked. I was like, okay. I mean,
so you're on the side of Caitlyn Jenner of good riddance, is what it sounds like.
Well, I didn't think the guy was a good person. I mean, he was a talented athlete, but I thought
he was a pretty good actor. I liked him in Naked Gun. I actually loved him in Naked Gun. I thought it was hilarious what they did with him.
Yeah.
when he flew off the side, he was like in the wheelchair and he flew over the balcony. I mean, all that stuff is classic. That's the Zucker brothers. That's just funny stuff. But OJ fit in there. I thought it was appropriate. And then they had Reggie Jackson. You would never think you'd see Reggie Jackson in a comedy film, but
oh yeah, Reggie Jackson.
So New York Yankee legend.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, he kicked the bucket at 76. Cancer.
Yeah.
Kind of a surprise. I mean, I knew he was getting older. I didn't even know he was 76, to be honest. And I forgot that he served time in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because he got in trouble with trying to get his memorabilia back at some hotel, and he threatened to kill somebody or whatever. And they got him.
That was crazy.
They got him. He was found guilty. He served like 7 or 8 years, 9 years, whatever it was. So I mean, the guy is now he's obviously not with us, but what a legend, infamous type of legend, OJ. So. But yeah, I was surprised to hear that. But another thing about him is, I was surprised that people, did take him seriously after all of this. That because he was still getting some appearances, like he would do the collectible shows, and people would still want his autograph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sold on the fact that he did it. I think he knew about it. I think he was probably happy about it, but I don't think he actually did it himself. I think he had help. That's my opinion on it. So I don't know if we'll ever know that, though, will we? We won't. Well, the civil trial thinks the civil people, the people in the civil trial thought it, apparently, because he was found responsible civilly. But I'll tell you, it doesn't feel like 30 years ago either, does it? That was 30 years ago that OJ Simpson did that whole run on the highway. Oh,
we were like 20 years old.
And that was another meme that's around, and I couldn't believe they did it. More of in the too soon category. They had a meme showing what will OJ's funeral procession look like, and it had him in the white Bronco, and then all the police behind him chasing him in a row. I'm like, that was a little tasteless, but I thought that was pretty funny, though. I have to admit that was
too soon.
No, I don't think it was actually. I liked it. I liked seeing that. I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah. So that's our story about OJ, and I guess we won't hear about him too much anymore. He's gone. Oh, his cards will probably be worth more money now. His football cards and, whatever other memorabilia is around.
Mm-hmm.
Would you buy it? Would you buy like a football he used or his jersey? Would you buy that stuff?
No, I'm not into that, and I don't have that kind of loot anyway.
Yeah. Well, I pay you, so I need to give you a little more allowance. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not into sports memorabilia at all, so.
Your day job is you like to be like the I don't know if you want to call it the referee or like the ringmaster or the host, because you're on Facebook arguing with people all day long, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
you know that.
You need to be the Facebook consultant or posting everything for us, the reels.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's OJ the OJ story. So R.I.P. OJ. And I don't know if everybody knew his real name. It was Orenthal James Simpson.
Simpson,
yeah.
Right.
And
it said it in the trial verdict.
I haven't seen any of the kids.
That's how I knew how to pronounce it. I never knew how to pronounce it.
Oh, well, yeah, they say it kind of slow when they're given the sentence. But I haven't heard from the kids at all. I don't know what's going on with the kids. Have you seen anything about the kids?
No. He has 4 children. He was married before.
Yeah.
I do. So he's older. I haven't heard or seen anything about them in years. So
I know. I was kind of surprised that there weren't a lot of comments from them. So whatever, I guess.
Well, they wanted to keep it low key and private, so
Well, it obviously isn't private. We're talking about it. Everybody else has been talking about it.
They wanted to keep it out of the media for a while.
Yeah, well, they definitely waited long enough, because we just found out today he died yesterday. They didn't say nothing about him being sick or anything.
Right. They didn't want people to know. So.
Well, maybe he didn't want people to know, because maybe they would cancel his appearances. Is what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, he wanted to keep it private, and that's you're supposed to respect people when they want to keep everything private, and
I guess
none of our business anyway. So.
Well, anyway, R.I.P. OJ Simpson. So another story. I don't know, do we have about 10 minutes or so of the hour? So I think we've got enough time to talk about this one. Did you watch the Golden Bachelor? I saw you posted something, Libby. Did you watch the Golden Bachelor show on ABC?
No, my daughter did, and I was making fun of her. I said, "Why would you want to watch old people dating?" And then I realized I'm getting up there in age, and I'm old.
Well, I think the show is designed for like seniors, like in their 60s, or not
older than
necessarily
me, but still.
people in their 40s. That was the regular Bachelor. The one Bachelor was what? One of the guys that was on that show, The Bachelor, was actually from near where I live in
Oh wow.
near the western suburbs by Hinsdale, Illinois. So I still talk to him. He actually went to school with me. I would have never guessed he was going to be an actor. I thought he was going to be like a football player or something. But anyway.
Oh, he was a jock type.
Yeah, I'll just say his name. Hey, shout out to Jamie. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Jamie Blythe was on the show. But that was
I
like
didn't know that.
one of the original versions of The Bachelor. I mean, how many have they done now? The Golden Bachelor's
it's been on for years.
Well, what the Golden one is like the 4th show, right? Or 3rd at least.
I don't know. I don't keep up with that. I just hear that the gossip from the show, in the media. But I just thought my daughter asked me, and I said, "Those are a bunch of old people."
Yeah, well, that's the new show, The Golden Bachelor. The couple that just won it or got together from it, Jerry Turner and Teresa Nist, are the couple that just, basically won. I say won, but they get the people together. I guess there's a monetary reward there somewhere. But anyway, they televised the wedding and everything. They tied the knot earlier this year.
Yeah.
And they just announced, actually, earlier today, that they're getting a divorce already. So much for that show. I wonder if that's going to hurt the reputation of the show at all, or does that just make her better?
The one guy in The Bachelor years ago, the guy turned out to be gay. So.
Well, yeah, but they didn't like, well, maybe he did. Did he get a divorce? I don't know.
No, I don't think they married. I just think it was all for show, but they knew he was gay. I don't know, but it seemed suspicious to me.
Well, in this show,
on Ellen saying it.
Yeah, in this show, they actually get them married at the end.
Right.
And, it is an older couple. I think they were in their 60s. But, yeah, he's quoted here. I'll just say his quote. He was actually on Good Morning America, the TV show. And he said, "Get a divorce? Yeah." That's how he brought it up. So that's interesting that I don't know. I would think they'd want to downplay that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens in the next season of the Golden Bachelor. I never really liked the Bachelor shows at all, and this one to me was just a little weird. I was like, oh, okay, they're basically coming, in the second it's like a second marriage kind of thing, where they're trying to meet their next life partner. I was like, I always feel uncomfortable with that. I feel like when my mom or dad dies, that the other spouse can't get remarried, but obviously that doesn't happen.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's why I don't really like this show that much. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm more
so they're supposed to be alone all their lives. Come on.
I'm not saying I'm the end all and in what Mario J. Bell says goes. I'm just saying that's how I feel about the show. That's how I don't really care for that show that much, but it really did surprise me. Wasn't this the first season, right?
Yeah, for the older ones, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of a weird way to end it. Here's some more quotes before I forget. "We have received so much love and support from so many people who watched The Golden Bachelor, and I don't think we can tell you how many people told us that it gave them so much hope." And that's from the husband. So interesting. For everybody that feels like there's more to life than just one marriage, I guess, then there you go. You got a whole show about it. Maybe you could be a contestant if you really want to. I'm sure they're casting for it because I guarantee this is going to be one of those shows that goes on for 10 years. Or I guess if the ratings don't do that good, if it's not rating well on TV anymore, then maybe they'll change it. But I have a feeling this one will run as long as the regular Bachelor. So it did surprise me, though. It was a funny story that caught my eye. I don't know about funny, but just kind of weird that.
Yeah.
It makes me think, is it staged? Is all this staged? Like they knew they were going to get married?
I'm getting at when, like I said, the one guy was gay and then he came out later after the show was done. So it's kind of weird.
But do you think the ending of the two that are getting divorced, do you think that the show planned it? I don't know if they would do that. Gary Turner and Teresa Nist, I don't think they would plan that. Do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like I said,
I guess it makes for.
It's kind of suspicious.
It makes for good TV.
Yeah, definitely.
So Anyway, so that's a couple of the things I wanted to bring up in this show. We again are going to be on as much as we can on the weekends, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When we work through all of our little individual issues going on, we'll get that straightened out. But yeah, it's a really cool medium to be on now. So, like I said, we're going to be on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. I don't know how we're going to be on LinkedIn. I haven't asked my editor that, but definitely TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram for sure. Those are the big ones. And then right here, intellectualradio.com, their website, they have a YouTube. They have Facebook feeds of people putting stuff up. So there's a lot of ways to find us now, Libby. Maybe we'll get more famous than we did with radio. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you say yes, you want to. I was going to say, we want to be a hermit. Don't worry, you're not on camera. I'm still using, my avatar view, our little ventriloquist dummy. We still got, so don't worry. You could be here. You could be on all those medium and they still won't know what you look like.
Yeah, that's the point.
I'm looking at myself on the camera. I'm like, wow, I look like I gained some weight. Maybe that's just the lens. Isn't that what everybody always says? It's just the lens.
Yeah.
It's the
always the
close-up.
excuse.
But anyway, yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll have some guests. In fact, I think I'm having a guest come tomorrow. So as long as everything goes well, we're here tomorrow at noon, and which is Saturday at noon. And I'm supposed to have an in-studio guest with me. And then hopefully you, Libby, do you think you'll be able to make it tomorrow?
At noon?
Yeah. Is that a little too early for you?
It is, but I'll be here, obviously.
We discussed this. This wasn't the first time you've heard it. Now, don't act on the air like I just told you.
Oh, come
I had
on.
to tell the management over here when we can be in here so we could get in with the other shows because, we're not the only show, obviously.
Well, obviously not.
So, you better be here with me. I want you to be.
Okay.
So anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope everybody keeps tuning in to intellectualradio.com and, of course, our shows, which, like I said, are being planned for Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And, you'll be able to see us and whatever crazy guests we have on and some of the little stunts we do with Libby. And then, check out our social media because we're going to have those reels. So it'll be fun.
Okay.
So, all right,
Sounds
Libby.
good to me.
I'll talk to you later. I'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
Everybody have a good one. This is Mario J. Bell and Libby. Bell and Company. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.